There was no question that he was one of the best American sprinters of the 1930s. In 1931, he defeated Jesse Owens at the Ohio High School State Championships, and a few years later, while attending the University of Michigan, he tied the world record of the 60 meters at the Big Ten Championship. So it wasn't a surprise when he qualified for the 4x100-meter relay pool at the U.S. Olympic trials. When he and the rest of Team USA boarded the ship to Europe later that summer, he knew that they were the best 4x100-meter team in the world. They were ready to win gold. And ultimately, the team did win gold, just without him and another runner who was left behind at the last minute. It was 1936, and Hitler had been very clear that Jewish athletes were not welcome at his Olympics. Today is Friday, August 8th, 2025, and on this day in 1915, Sam Stoller was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. In this episode, we'll hear about Stoller's background, meet his would-be teammate, Marty Glickman, and learn how the two were barred from competing in 1936 in Berlin. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and you are listening to Today in Running History. Fueled Friday, which means that today's episode is sponsored by Fuel Goods. Fuel Goods is the sports nutrition marketplace and subscription service that takes the guesswork out of how to fuel your runs, rides, or whatever sport keeps you active. Obviously, I'm a runner, and I discovered this brand through the Runner Box subscription a few years back. Basically, every 2 months, I receive a box full of running fuel, hydration, protein mixes, healthy snacks, and a few other items too, like anti-chafe and muscle recovery gel. Not only does this keep me fueled up and prepared for my runs, but my subscription from Fuel Goods is the perfect way to discover new brands that I might not have otherwise tried. And something that makes Fuel Goods so great is that once you discover a product or brand you love, you can go onto their marketplace and try out some other options or even putting it on a recurring delivery for an extra discount. They also recently launched their Fuel Finder quiz, which is like a dating matchmaker for sports nutrition. So you put in some info about yourself, like what kind of activities you do, how often, what kind of like textures and flavors you like, your budget, and then it curates a bundle of fueling products that are tailored specifically to your needs and preferences. I will put a link in the description for y'all to check out Fuel Goods and take the Fuel Finder quiz yourself. Okay, now let's talk about Sam Stoller and Marty Glickman. If you follow me on social media, you know that I spend a lot of time at the local Jewish Community Center here in San Antonio. It's open to everybody, regardless of religious affiliation, and the JCC is where my kids attend camp and participate in youth sports. It features the pool that we've basically lived at all summer, and it has the gym where I get the majority of my treadmill workouts and strength training in. And there's a framed poster in one of the hallways that lists famous Jewish athletes in all sorts of sports, with a section on track and field. And when I started putting together my research for this podcast earlier in the spring, I took a picture of those names to see if there was anything significant. And that is how I discovered both Sam Stoller and Marty Glickman. Had circumstances been different for them all those years ago, I might have already known their names. Sam Stoller was born 110 years ago today in Cincinnati. By the time he got to high school, he had become one of the top sprinters in the state of Ohio, which led to a rivalry and friendship with fellow Ohioan Jesse Owens. Owens typically outran Stoller, though the latter did come out on top during those state championships in 1931. The two continued their rivalry in college when Stoller went to the University of Michigan and Owens to Ohio State, schools whose rivalry, even today, continues to be one of the biggest in all of college sports. Marty Glickman was born in 1917 to Romanian immigrants in the Bronx. He ran track at James Madison High School in Brooklyn, which also happens to be the school that my grandma and great-uncle attended 30 years later. In fact, my great-uncle Bill ran on the same track team in the 60s as Glickman did in the 30s. Marty Glickman went on to run at Syracuse and had just finished his freshman year when he went to the U.S. Olympic track trials in 1936. Both Sam Stoller and Jesse Owens qualified for the trials at the NCAA Championship in June of 1936, with Glickman and others making it there through regional qualifier meets. The trials were held in New York City that summer during a heat wave with temperatures in the triple digits. During the qualifying heat for the 100 meters, Jesse Owens verbally encouraged Sam Stoller to pick up the pace, leading to the two taking first and second place. Marty Glickman finished third, and all three men progressed to the finals the following day. In the 100-meter final, Owens won, while Glickman and Stoller finished fifth and sixth, respectively. This meant that they did not make the team as individual athletes, but were named to Team USA as part of the relay pool. Berlin was the capital of Nazi Germany, and Adolf Hitler saw the Olympics as the perfect stage on which to showcase to the world his ideals of Aryan supremacy. He barred Jews from competing on the German team and put out notices that Jews from other nations were not ineligible, but nor were they welcome. At that point, the U.S. Olympic team disregarded Hitler's warning and brought its best athletes. Most of them boarded the SS Manhattan just 3 days after the trials. The voyage across the Atlantic took 9 days, during which members of the relay team continued to train. Following the opening ceremonies, Stoller and Glickman watched in awe as Jesse Owens won 3 gold medals in 3 consecutive days in the 100 meters, long jump, and 200 meters. Another Black teammate, Ralph Metcalfe, who I covered in the August 1st episode, won silver in the 100 meters just behind Owens. Stoller celebrated his 21st birthday a week into the Games on August 8th. The following day, he and Glickman prepared to run the 4x100-meter relay along with teammates Foy Draper and Frank Wyckoff. But the morning of August 9th, the track coaches for Team USA, Lawson Robertson and Dean Cromwell, called an emergency meeting to announce that they had reversed their decision to defy Hitler's wishes. The German chancellor had already been embarrassed by watching Black Americans dominate on the track, and the coaches didn't want to aggravate him further by forcing him to witness American Jews win gold. Stoller and Glickman were pulled from the team and replaced by Jesse Owens and Ralph Metcalfe. While the coaches certainly wanted the U.S. to medal as often as possible, their decision was almost certainly helped along by Coach Cromwell's vocal anti-Semitism and support of Nazi Germany. So when Owens immediately protested the decision, saying, quote, "Coach, I've won my 3 gold medals. I'm tired. I've had it. Let Marty and Sam run. They deserve it," it fell on deaf ears. Stoller and Glickman did not watch the race, where the relay team of Owens, Metcalfe, Draper, and Wyckoff won gold and set a new world record. And understandably, it was hard to hide their bitterness. Referencing Stoller's birthday the day before, Glickman told the Los Angeles Times that their removal from the team was, quote, "a fine present for Sam, wasn't it?" The official report was always that anti-Semitism was not a factor in the decision to pull the 2 athletes from the relay team. But of the 66-person track team representing the U.S., 64 of those athletes competed. Stoller and Glickman were the only 2 Jews on the team and the only men denied the chance to compete. Marty Glickman remained vocal about the discrimination and exclusion for the remainder of his life. He returned to his collegiate running career at Syracuse, then served in the U.S. Marines during World War II, after which he enjoyed a successful career in sports broadcasting that lasted nearly 5 decades. Sam Stoller initially declared that he would never run again following his exclusion at the Berlin Olympics, but changed his mind to run track his senior year at Michigan. That spring, he won both the Big Ten and NCAA championships and was named All-American. Stoller dabbled in singing and dancing, earning bit parts in movies during the 1930s. He married, but little else is known about his life after his movie career ended. He died in 1985, just shy of his 70th birthday. In 1996, Glickman published his autobiography, The Fastest Kid on the Block, in which the father of 4 detailed his experiences at the 1936 Olympics and beyond. In 1998, the president of the U.S. Olympic Committee presented Glickman with a plaque that was, quote, "in lieu of the gold medal he didn't win in Berlin." It was also presented in memory of Sam Stoller, who had died 13 years earlier. Glickman gave his youngest daughter, Nancy, his Olympic uniform before he died in 2001. She and other family members were in attendance when the two athletes were honored at the European Maccabi Games in July 2015 in Berlin. In the lead up to that event, sportscaster Bob Costas said of his colleague, quote, "He lived in the present, but with a strong sense of the past. He didn't nurse any grudges, but neither did he forget." And neither will we. And it's events like this that inspired me to begin this podcast in the first place. Thank y'all so much for joining. Please make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, rate 5 stars, and then send this episode to that old coworker you've been meaning to catch up with. Then join me tomorrow as we remain in 1936 and shift the focus to Jesse Owens' historic 4 gold medals. As a reminder, today is Fueled Friday, and you can check out the Fuel Goods website and take the Fuel Finder quiz at the link in the episode description. I'm your host, Running Up That Hillary, and this has been Today in Running History. Jesse Owens at the Ohio High School. Yeah, that's hard to say. We're just gonna start over. All right, I got this. Championships in the June of Junes. Okay. Both Sam Stoller and Jesse Owens qualify. And did you see my ring light? I bought a ring light and it literally died. So this thing has like a battery life of like 4 minutes. We'll try that again. Hopefully that didn't like throw the whole thing off and I'm just suddenly in the dark. Okay. Another black teammate, Ralph Metcalf. Along with teammates Foy Draper. What? Foy Draper. Okay. Local anti-Semitism and support of God, I'm getting all worked up. I can't even talk. While the coaches certainly wanted the U.S. to medal as often as possible, their decision was almost certainly helped along by Coach Cromwell's vocal anti-Semitism. Okay. I hate this guy. Right. So when Owens immediately protested the decision, Coach, I've won my 4-3 gold. Okay. It wasn't 4. Okay. Because at this point, okay. And this is a quote. All right. Whew. I gotta get this right. Referencing Stoller's birthday the day before, Glickman told the Los Angeles. Oh my God, I know the name of that city. Los Angeles. Okay. Only 2 Jews on the team and the only 2 men denied. We're gonna need to start doing tongue twisters before this.